Is there things that you've had to do, whether it's somewhere like cash rewards, for example, where there is this ambition to grow and to be this bigger business than when you started, and people's perspective on what that plan needs to look like and how you get there can be subjective? Like, is there things you do to ensure that, you know, when building teams, and this is the type of thing that we need to be bringing in versus some other sort of skill set or behaviour?
I think it's important to acknowledge that it does iterate, it does change, and it does evolve. That's probably my learning from my time at Casuals. I was there for 4 years, and the strategy did shift, probably significantly, maybe 3 times. So I think in that vein, it is important to acknowledge that with your team, and to be able to pivot and to be able to move and to be able to take ideas, and maybe it's not right for there and now, but it might be for the future.
Yeah, okay.
So I think it's important just to acknowledge that, yes, it can change.
And I guess this is where you talk about mindset and behaviours being crucial in building teams, whether it be moving people from within the organisation into new roles or bringing outside talent in, because when people get fixated on hard skills and you aren't necessarily able to relay those hard skills in a different environment, that's when your business starts to get fixed.
Yes, I think like you can, in most part, train a lot of skills and capabilities. I think there's always going to be a conversation around what is reasonable in terms of how much time do you have to do that, and what do you need to deliver. You can train a lot of that, but I think in terms of the ability to be resilient, to be able to work in a fast-paced environment that's forever changing, in order to be comfortable with change, it's hard to teach those skills. I think people either thrive in those environments and have experience in those environments and want to be in that type of business again, or they don't. And I think that's where you would just have an honest conversation at that recruitment process to say, this is the environment you're coming into. It's not perfect. It's this, it's that. And you have that two-way conversation of, is it right for you? Because when you're interviewing, it is a two-way street. It's a two-way conversation as to whether you're the right person for the business and whether the business is right for them.
So when you're thinking about the right person for the business, I remember you and I, when we were working together, there was a lot of discussion around culture fit, which is often the case, right, in organisations. You think about culture, right?
Yeah.
And the reality is that when people say culture, they're talking about a bias, some way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah, I hate that term.
What's your view on finding the right fit for an organisation without it becoming about cliques or clicks?
Yeah, I know I've said it a lot. I really dislike that term. And the reason why I dislike that term, I think when you say culture fit, you're looking for someone that fits the mould, and you're then not building a diverse and inclusive team, is my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Where I think it works well is when you hire against values.
Yes.
And you can test for what are their values, what are our values as an organisation, and actually can you find people that would display those behaviours and values day to day. I think that's where you can then bring in talent which adds to your organisation, that brings different experience to your organisation, but aligns to your values and has the same values and ethics, essentially. I think that's what is more important than saying culturally they're a fit.
It's harder though to do that, right? Because
it is hard to do that, yeah.
If you think about, especially emerging leaders or emerging managers, they tend to want to find people where it's a little more straightforward for them to lead, so they don't quite feel as challenged, and you get more prepared for that as you grow as a leader. Are there things that you've done throughout your time, either leading your own teams or leading your own managers, and then partnering with senior leaders around how they take a little more risk around hiring for values versus hiring for, more like us?
Oh, good question. I think having that shared agreement and commitment as a leadership team on who we are as a business is important to start with.
Yes.
And we did that in my role at Cash Rewards. It was, where are we now? Where do we want to be as a business? And then having that shared agreement and commitment as a leadership group that these are our values, these are our key principles. You can then challenge leaders against that if they are resistant to hiring someone that maybe has had different experience, as an example, or doesn't have everything from a skill perspective, but if they are aligned to what we stand for as a values and principles point of view, then they will be successful typically in the business. So that worked well. It's just having that shared commitment and understanding as a leadership team around who we are as a business.
Yeah, right.